Now on Sunrise and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, authorities say an employee shot and killed his manager at a Hobby Lobby distribution center Wednesday in Oklahoma City. And the United States Postal Service going electric. The agency has announced a new deal with Ford to purchase over 9,200 electric vehicles and thousands of charging stations. Plus, a Spirit Airlines flight made an emergency landing in Florida after a reported fire in an overhead bin.
It was on the outside Victoria. Sun beginning to appear in the distance there. A little bit of fog out there as well. 73 degrees, warm and humid, so that the winds will continue to increase throughout the day, and the temperatures will be on the decrease tonight. We'll give you the details in your full forecast.
The end of Cowboy season is in the books, but we check out the highlights in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now Sunrise. Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Carolina Astrain. Today is the second day of March 2023. The time is now 6:31 on your Thursday morning. And today it's Read Across America Day. So you may have heard just a few moments ago that the Children's Discovery Museum will be having Dr. Seuss activities today to honor that Read Across America Day. Let's go ahead and turn to First Warn Storm Team Meteorologist Trey Mining. Trey, I think my favorite chapter books growing up like and around elementary school age had to be Amelia Bedelia.
You know, I was reading in elementary school weather books. All this in the school library, all the weather books were just checked out by me. I could look and have the name in all of them, so it's a lifelong thing. All right, temperature is currently in the low 70s by 7 a.m. and keeping those 70s going, gradually increasing in the temperature as we head toward the noon hour. And 70s and 80s coming up by the afternoon. This afternoon, of course, the cool air comes in after that. And we had a pretty big storm, pretty sizable storm that kind of sneaked up on us early in the morning this morning, about midnight or so, moving through Cuero. You kind of see it right there, kind of briefly. I got to get the stops on this. We can examine it a little closer. But it came through with some pretty good hailstones. We have some pictures that we'll show you eventually. All right, we'll see the severe weather outlook still in effect for today. It was a slight risk of severe weather from northern Victoria County, Edna, Inez, Wharton, El Campo, and Cuero to the north. And there's some marginal risk from about Victoria area all the way south toward Beeville. It's the marginal risk. These are the smallest risks, but it's a risk nonetheless. That means we have to keep weather aware throughout the day today. I think the main chance of that will be tonight as the front gets closer to us and lifts that moisture up. Wind speeds currently near 10 to 20 miles per hour, increasing in velocities but later on today, kind of feeding that deepening low pressure to the west, which is the frontal boundary. And we'll continue to see that throughout the afternoons coming up. And then for your day tomorrow, we'll have winds that are pretty much the same velocities coming in from the north and northwest, bringing in that cooler air into our forecast area here. What about the temperatures and when will we see some rain shower chances? We will tonight. Any more? We'll find out later on in the full forecast to come. Carolina?
Thank you, Trey. Memorial services for Claude Jacobs will be held this weekend. Services begin Sunday, March the 5th with a visitation from 4 to 6 p.m. at St. Joseph Catholic Church at 401 Orth Street in Yoakum. A rosary will follow at 6 p.m. The funeral for Claude Jacobs, who was known for his philanthropy throughout the Crossroads, will take place Monday, March 6th at 10 a.m. at Our Lady of Victory Catholic Church. That's at 311 Mesquite Lane in Victoria. A reception will follow the Mass. If you'd like to honor the memory of Claude Jacobs, you can send a donation to the Bluebonnet Youth Ranch. That's at P.O. Box 90 in Yoakum, Texas at 77995, or go by byrtx.org to donate at their website. At least one person is dead following a shooting at a Hobby Lobby distribution warehouse in Oklahoma City on Wednesday afternoon. Police responded to the shooting near South Council Road just before 5 p.m. They found one person dead at the scene. Authorities say a male employee of the distribution center went in to speak with the manager when an altercation began. The employee took out a gun and shot the manager, who is now deceased. The suspect fled in a red Dodge Charger, which he later crashed. Police have confirmed that the suspect is dead. No word yet on the cause of his death. A Spirit Airlines flight made an emergency landing in Jacksonville, Florida after a battery fire in an overhead bin. The flight had departed from Dallas and was headed to Orlando. Leaders say a fire in the overhead bin was extinguished on the flight and seems to have been a battery fire. The plane was able to land safely at Jacksonville International Airport. Spirit Airlines issued a statement thanking the crew and guests for their quick actions to ensure the safety of everyone on board. The airline worked with passengers to provide refunds and meal vouchers. They also arranged alternate transportation to Orlando. The United States Postal Service has announced a major electric vehicle deal. The Postal Service says it will buy over 9,200 Ford E-Transit electric vehicles to be put in service later this year. The purchase is part of a plan announced in December to more than double the Postal Service's electric delivery vehicle purchases, slated for at least 66,000 through 2028. A USPS release also says it is ordering more than 14,000 charging stations to be installed at yet to be identified Postal Service facilities. And here's a look at some of the top headlines you'll read in this week's Port Lavaca Wave. Grace Episcopal Church and the Port Lavaca Lions Club served pancakes and raised money during Shrove Tuesday. The principal for Our Lady of the Gulf Catholic School becomes a science teacher. And the Calhoun County Quilt Guild held their third quilt show after being postponed due to the pandemic. You can read these stories and more at theportlavacawave.com. Okay, get your cell phone and scan this QR code. It's our quick response code to download the Crossroads Today app. You can get breaking news alerts, vote on our viewer poll, get the latest news, weather, and sports, and learn all about our ongoing contests like Lean On Me. Right there on the app, submit those news tips and photos. The time is now 6:36 on your Thursday morning. Here's a look at what's coming up on 25 News Now Sunrise. A community honoring the lives lost at a historical battle site in the Crossroads.
President Biden reacts to the major insulin announcement by drug maker Eli Lilly. I'm ABC's Faith Abube in Washington. What President Biden is now urging other drug makers to do, coming up.
Take a look on the outside marine forecast down at Port O'Connor today. Be careful out there. There's your high and low tide. And it's gusty southerly winds, 20 to 25 knots, 30 knot gusts possible, 5 to 7 foot seas, and rather choppy to rough on the bay waters. 81-degree water temperature measured earlier this morning at Port O'Connor. May want to wait for a better day to go out fishing or boating or what have you in the bay. Full forecast coming up a little bit later on.
This is Ford Truck Month, Texas. Time to get up and get into Ford F-150, part of F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 46 years straight. All amped up and ready for work or play. Plus, there's a great selection in stock and ready for delivery today. So get into Ford Truck Month, Texas, and see what a built Ford tough truck can do for you. Drive Ford F-150 with 0.9% for 60 months, 0 down, and 0 payments for 90 days, plus complimentary maintenance.
Every day we help kids navigate the realities of the world and make healthy, lifelong choices. Kids learn about alcohol, tobacco, and drugs in lots of ways, often from friends and siblings. While kids may hear lots of harmful information, parents do play a huge role in helping them make the right decision. Talking to your child, sitting down to a family meal at night just to discuss how their day went, or encouraging extracurricular activities can make all the difference.
The use of talcum powder for feminine hygiene has been found to cause ovarian cancer, and women around the nation are now filing talcum powder cancer claims against Johnson & Johnson. Evidence presented in these lawsuits indicates Johnson & Johnson officials have intentionally concealed talcum powder cancer risk information from consumers over the course of decades. If you use talcum powder and developed ovarian cancer, it is in your best interest to speak with the team at 1-800-LAW-FIRM about filing a claim. Call 1-800-LAW-FIRM to see if you qualify.
Good morning, meteorologist Trey Mining here, and thank you, Gerald from Cuero, sending this in. I showed you a little bit ago the thunderstorm that gave the Cuero area some small to moderate sized hail. Here's some pictures right here of that, and there's what he picked up there in the yard this morning. There's a quarter to compare, so definitely a pretty good sized hailstone. This definitely is in the severe category. So had some pretty good hail this morning, and this could be a possibility again coming up in the late night, overnight tonight as the front moves on through. So thank you, Gerald from Cuero, for sending that in. I really appreciate it. And now we'll go on. Now temperature is in the 70s this morning, and we'll keep the temperatures rather warm and humid for the rest of the morning time and through the afternoon hours when it'll be in the 80-degree range, or maybe a little bit higher than that. And as we work toward the end of the time period here, coming up the early morning hours for your day on Friday. Here comes the front moving through. About 11 o'clock this evening, at midnight or so, it's down along the coast and continue to push offshore, taking the clouds and the rain with it at that time. Northerly winds taking hold. Temperature is dropping down. It'll be near 50 degrees early morning hours for your Friday, so definitely maybe needing a little light jacket or coat coming up. And let's see if we can get a few little peaks of that storm. There it is right there. It's kind of hard to see. I put some stops in here, but it came through Cuero about midnight or so this morning, so definitely was severe. and definitely drop some hailstones there. Something we don't see that often, but it does happen. Your full forecast comes around a little bit later on this half hour to give you the information you need for your weather forecast for the next day and the coming days. Back to you, Carolina.
Thank you, Trey, and thank you, Gerald, for sending in that photo. The Edna Cowboys made history on the hardwood this year. Our sports team has the highlights.
Howdy Crossroads, the Edna Cowboys took on the Cole Cougars in the playoffs, and we have the highlights from the final quarter. Edna was down by 10 until Jaden Clay pulls up from 3 to make the lead only 7. Cole still in the lead, but Edna making a push. Momentum looked to be on Edna's side with a steal by Kevin Robinson. He drives trying to make a play, but it gets swatted going for the layup. Cole's center, who's only a freshman, pulls off a knife spin off the glass over Clay for the score. Edna down by 14 now, but trying to get something going, trying to press. The Cougars get past the press like they did most of the night, and the freshman decides to drive again, but Robinson, the big wall, comes up with the block, giving the Cowboys the ball with less than 3 minutes left on the clock. Trying to get something going on offense, Braylon Harris drives, no good, but Robinson again with the putback and the rebound, giving Edna some life. Edna trying to cause some turnovers and put points on the board, but Cole was just too good. These would be the last points of the game. An emphatic slam dunk to close the Cowboys season. Final score 56-38 Cougars. That's your 25 Sports Now.
We want to invite you to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, and on your cell phone. Just search Crossroads Today Plus. A significant financial relief on the way for millions of Americans battling diabetes. Drug maker Eli Lilly has slashed some insulin list prices by up to 70%, capping out-of-pocket costs at just $35 compared to what for some can be hundreds of dollars a month.
President Biden taking a victory lap after the largest manufacturer of insulin in the U.S. announced that diabetics who use its insulin should now expect to pay no more than $35 a month for the life-saving medication.
We finally beat Big Pharma because we stuck together.
President Biden praising the move by drug maker Eli Lilly, highlighting the fact that last year he signed into law the Inflation Reduction Act, which caps insulin prices for seniors on Medicare at $35 and has spent months calling on pharmaceutical companies to also lower prices for everyone else. The president suggesting Eli Lilly's decision could be a game changer.
$35. But guess what that means? Every other company making insulin is going to have to lower their prices to $35 because they can't compete.
Out of the nearly 8.5 million Americans who use insulin, nearly 3 million rely on Eli Lilly products. And as prices for the life-saving medication have skyrocketed, many diabetics have been forced to make dangerous decisions to save money.
He would be able to successfully do what 1/4 of all type 1 diabetics do, and that was ration his insulin until payday. And unfortunately, he lost that game of Russian roulette, I guess.
A recent poll by the Kaiser Family Foundation found that a slight majority of Americans want Congress to put capping insulin costs on its list of top priorities.
We're doing this completely voluntarily because it's time and it's the right thing to do.
And President Biden, as recently as this week, called out Republicans for blocking his proposal to extend a $35 insulin cap to everyone. This could potentially become a campaign issue if the president decides to join the 2024 presidential race. In Washington, Faith Abube, ABC News.
Leading us to your viewer poll. Is someone in your household on insulin, yes or no? We want to hear from you. Let's take a look. Okay, 33% of you say yes, and the rest of you say no. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote. You can also scan the QR code right there on your screen to take part. And Goliad community members came together to honor the 300+ lives lost at a historical Texas battle site. In Goliad, you'll find the Fannin Memorial Monument, a large structure in a field surrounded by bluebonnets and other Texas wildflowers. While it may seem quaint, there was a tremendous bloodshed on this very land where the flowers grow, because this is the site of the Goliad Massacre, where 348 Texan Army members were killed by the Mexican Army. Linda Breeding is the Goliad County Historical Commission chair. She decided she wanted to do something to honor the lives lost.
Marched him off, and they, they shot him, went back in and shot Fannin. And so we are just honoring them.
When you think of Texas history, just know that there's a piece of it right here in your own backyard in Goliad. And sometimes the best way to learn about history is to immerse yourself in it. The time is now 6:45 on your Thursday morning. Still to come, we take a look at Homemade with Adarius. Time to celebrate some birthdays and anniversaries. Happy 3rd birthday to Raven. From all your family, we love you.
It's a happy 8th birthday to Haley. Love from Mom, Dad, and PJ.
And happy birthday, Benoit Blanc. The former James Bond and Knives Out star Daniel Craig is 55 today.
And happy 10th anniversary to August and Ophelia. Enjoy your special day. To see your birthday wish live on 25 News Now Sunrise, come to crossroadstoday.com, click on More Under Home. You'll see the KVU Submit Your Birthday.
The time is now 6:46 on your Thursday morning. Happy birthday if you're celebrating one today. We'll be right back.
Bring them on.
If only there was a place in the morning to start my day. With a smile, somewhere to help me get in the know. A place as spectacular as, well, me.
I think we might know a place, right guys?
Bring your friends.
Oh wait, there is.
Good morning, America.
GMA, 7A, every day. Boom, boom, boom.
Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, Robin. Good morning, America. How are you?
Boom! Now that's how you start your day, people.
A motorcycle repair failed.
When I got home, I called him. Hey, this bike is messing up.
Then another visit to the shop.
It just died.
When did you bring the bike back to Mr. Harder?
Same day.
And the mechanic.
When did you give him additional money?
When I picked up the bike.
Kickstarts a controversy.
I made him sign a contract saying, we are done with this bike, sign off as is, no warranties.
Next, Judge Judy.
In this morning's GMA First Look, an IVF tragedy.
My soul's life purpose was to have a baby that I didn't pass this gene on to.
Melissa and Jason Diaz now raising a son with a deadly hereditary cancer gene the couple had sought fertility treatment to avoid. They are now suing California company HRC for allegedly transferring an embryo that had tested positive for diffuse gastric cancer. And then they say the company falsified medical records in an attempted cover-up. Melissa and Jason say their son will likely need his entire stomach surgically removed as early as age 15.
We followed every step possible. So I never would have thought that we would be in this situation, and I never would have thought that, my son would have this gene now.
And we'll have much more on the IVF lawsuit coming up at 7 a.m. With your GMA First Look, I'm Andrea Fujii, ABC News, New York.
Numbers move you, but some can stop you in your tracks, like the tens of thousands of people who were diagnosed with certain HPV-related cancers. For most people, HPV clears on its own, but for those who don't clear the virus, it can cause certain cancers. Gardasil 9 is a vaccine given to adults through age 45 that can help protect against certain diseases caused by HPV, including cervical, vaginal, vulvar, anal, and certain head and neck cancers, such as throat and back of mouth cancers and genital warts. Gardasil 9 doesn't protect everyone and does not treat cancer or HPV infection. Your doctor may recommend screening for certain HPV-related cancers. Women still need routine cervical cancer screenings. You shouldn't get Gardasil 9 if you've had an allergic reaction to the vaccine, its ingredients, or are allergic to yeast. Tell your doctor if you have a weakened immune system, are pregnant, or plan to be. The most common side effects include injection site reactions, headache, fever, nausea, dizziness, tiredness, diarrhea, abdominal pain, and sore throat. Fainting can also happen. Help protect what counts. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist about Gardasil 9.
Good morning, meteorologist Trey Mining here. It's just about 10 minutes away from the 7 a.m. hour. Once again, temperature is the big story today, starting off in the 70s, and we'll keep the 70s going through the majority of the morning time, 80s by afternoon time. And then we'll see the cooler air working in about 7 o'clock or so toward Gonzales, about 11 o'clock in Victoria, pushing offshore by about 11:30 or 12 midnight tonight. and then we'll see the winds turn around to the north. Cool temperatures taking over. And so back to a little bit of jacket weather, sweater weather coming up for your day on Friday. Majority of the day today should be cloudy skies, but rain-free. As we work throughout the evening, though, here comes the front right there, and maybe some rain showers and storms along the frontal boundaries. So keep that in mind. So we got a 40% chance in for the day. That clears on out. Sunshine returns for your day tomorrow, and cool temperatures too. 85 degrees today. Cloudy skies and windy. Tomorrow morning, early, 50 degrees in Victoria. Definitely keeping that cool air in. Storms before the cool air arrives. Nice and sunny for a day tomorrow, low 70s. Extended forecast for us. Looking pretty good for the next several days. More humidity by Sunday.
Texas barbecue is a big deal in the Crossroads, and there's one family with a number of secrets that keep customers coming back for more. 25 News Now reporter Adarius McCormick has more in Homemade with Adarius.
We recently took a trip down to Paradise on the Bay. If you don't know where that is, the secret is out. It's Port Lavaca. Near downtown, there's a Tex-Mex barbecue mix restaurant owned by a local family, Lavaca Barbecue. The Navarez family owns one of the top 50 barbecue joints in Texas. The family's moneymaker goes to their wide choice of meat, which daughter/pitmaster Kelly Navarez handles.
And so this is usually my everyday pit that I like to use. So we have some food in there right now, just a little bit.
Papa Lupe Navarez built this pit used at their Port Lavaca location. The pit started as a trailer until Lupe added the 1,000-gallon barbecue pit offset smoker with accommodations for Kelly. Before the restaurant opened in 2019, Lupe worked in the engineering field, so the build was simple. And with the upgrades, Kelly can work all day in that pit.
I get here really early to kind of prep and get everything ready for day stuff. Little things that we're serving that day, make sure everything's kind of prepared, hot, ready, fresh. And then throughout the day, I start putting things on the pit. I have to be back there, of course, watching everything.
Mother Christine Navarez is responsible for some of their outlandish dishes, like their blue tortillas and their green corn. Yes, we said green corn.
I puree whole jalapenos. And when I go to the store, I try to pick the darkest jalapenos there are, hand-pick each one. So that way it gives us that green color. It is called a jalapeno cream corn. So of course it's got jalapenos, it's got cream, and then it's got some sweetness in there.
The most unique dish on their menu is the one and only smoked tamale. What is a smoked tamale, you ask? Well, this is what Lupe says.
That tamales, we're the first ones to ever do that. That tamale is made 100% in the smoker, never steamed. So they're actually wrapped in butcher paper, and we wrap them in butcher paper and smoke them in the pit. So we smoke them just like we do our briskets.
The family turns dreams into reality on plates. The unique blend of Tex-Mex and barbecue is why we decided to show off their homemade dishes. Want to show off something homemade? Email us at homemade@victoriatelevision.com.
So hungry now. Thank you, Adarius. Still to come on Sunrise, news to know before you go. There's a new executive director at the helm of the Children's Discovery Museum of the Golden Crescent.
So I'm back home from college, hanging out with some friends, we're drinking. So we started driving and the road's kind of windy. Next thing I know, I lost control of the car and I crashed into a house. And then from there, you've got the backlash because it was on the news. And before I could even get back home, my phone was blowing up for people's parents, other people like, how could you? So irresponsible. And you go from thinking that I'm this good guy and everything's working out for me to all of a sudden like, I'm a felon. It's a $30,000 mistake for me and something I still think about and have to deal with every day.
With the stars of the Super Mario Brothers movie. Wait, we're missing someone, right? Very limber, Bowser. Were y'all getting to dress up? Like, what happened?
All I'm doing is trying to think of how I'm gonna get you guys back someday.
Did y'all, test out different voices for your characters?
I have a very hard time not sounding like a cartoon character.
This morning, Michael's taking you live to one of the most remote inhabited islands anywhere in the world.
an island filled with mystery, beauty, and magical wonder. Easter Island Live. You're invited for the Morning Global event. Good Morning America this morning.
From America's #1 news comes the all-new ABC News app. Breaking news, incredible video, faster, smarter, and customizable to your interests. If you love being in the know, you're gonna love this. Experience the all-new ABC News app. Download it now.
And now it's time for today's question of the day. True or false? Texas immediately joined the U.S. once it gained its independence from Mexico. Okay, Trey, we have some guesses here.
Okay.
Luke is saying false. The Republic of Texas was a sovereign state. General Sam Houston was the first president. And Melanie says false. And good morning, everyone. Orlo says no. Strange question for a Texan. He's trying to trick you there. And Janet says yes, but was rejected the same year. I didn't know that.
Interesting.
And Leticia says true.
There you go. Thanks everyone for chiming in. And it shouldn't be that difficult of a question if you know your Texas history like we do. And so the answer is false. Of course, Texas was its own country, its own sovereign state for 9 years until it joined the United States after that. So there you go. The question of the day answer for you, and a little Texas history in that as well. Stay tuned for your day tomorrow for another great question of the day to get your Friday started.
A flight from Lehigh Valley International Airport was headed to Orlando and was disrupted Monday after bomb-type materials were uncovered in a suitcase as it went through the TSA. Court documents say investigators found a circular compound around 3 inches in diameter, wrapped in a wax-like paper and clear plastic wrap hidden in the lining of the luggage. Authorities also recovered other items, including a can of butane and a lighter. Court documents show the baggage belongs to Mark Muffley, who was caught on security cameras leaving the airport after TSA agents paged him over the intercom to report to security. The 40-year-old was arrested Monday night without incident by the FBI. The Refugio County commissioners voted to lift a burn ban in that county. That burn ban will end starting this Saturday, March 4th. The City of Victoria awarded a grant from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. The city is expected to receive over $566,000 from a community development block grant, which will help fund activities like affordable housing, community development, and homeless assistance. And here's a look at some of the top headlines you'll read in this week's Core Record. A Nigerian national living in Maryland taking into custody and facing felony charges coming from a DeWitt County cybercrime, and the DeWitt County Auditor earns a national award. And the 74th annual Quail Livestock Show is underway. You can read these stories and more at DeWittCountyToday.com. And there's a new executive director at the helm of the Children's Discovery Museum of the Golden Crescent. Brooke Jackson previously served as an educator part of the Victoria ISD. She looks forward to expressing more of her creativity in her new role.
And I'm so excited to bring that experience to the museum as we look for ways to engage the community and get more involvement with children and families at the museum.
Today is Read Across America Day, so the museum is featuring Dr. Seuss, and spring break is right around the corner. It's going to be out of this world. All right, we want to invite you to experience our new digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, and on your cell phone. Just search Crossroads Today Plus. And we do have time for a final check of our forecast with Trey.
And thank you so much, Carolina. Take a look at the forecast right quick. Starting off in the 70s, 80s by the afternoon time. Cloudy skies all day long. Rain shower chances coming in after about 6 o'clock in the evening to about midnight or so when the front moves on through. And 85 degrees today with cloudy skies and windy, southerly winds. Overnight lows in the 50-degree range. Waking up tomorrow morning on the chilly side. Rain in between that time after about midnight or so is out of the picture. 73 degrees for your Friday. Looking pretty good. Sunshine, low humidities, and that'll take us through Saturday. Humidity returns coming up by Sunday with clouds increasing by then. Lows 50s and 60s throughout the time period. Carolina?
Thank you, Trey, and thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful Texas Independence Day. Come to CrossroadsToday.com for more local news, weather, and sports. And join James, Don, Howie, Karina, and Gino today for 25 News Now at 5, 6, and 10. Don't forget about that banana cream pie.